Hey everyone, we're going to let theta be an obtuse angle such that sine of theta equals 3 divided by 5. We're going to find the value of tan of theta and then answer the rest of these questions to find finally the x-coordinate of P. Because the line M is tangent to there. So let's just get started with 5a. So basically, let's find cosine first. So cosine of theta equals 1 minus sine squared of theta. So it's 1 minus 3/5 squared, which equals, I'm going to change this to 25. 25 divided by 25 minus 9 divided by 25, which equals 16 divided by 25. Now, when you take the square root of both sides, you're going to get plus and minus this, which equals plus or minus 4/5. So if I draw a triangle, just draw a little right triangle, and let this be, say, theta. I know this is 5, this is 3, and this has to be 4. So tan is opposite over, I really should have drawn it. This is obtuse angle. So that means in the quadrant, we're in quadrant 2. So let's draw it here. Means this angle is obtuse. Less than 180, but greater than 190. All right, so this is 5. This is 4. And y is 3. So tan is going to be, we're going to take the negative for cosine because our x is negative. So this is going to be negative 3 divided by 4. Remember, we're in quadrant 2 and tan is negative in quadrant 2. All right. Now it says line L, where's L? Passes through the origin and has a gradient of tan of theta. Find the equation of L. So it passes through the origin, has a gradient of tan. So basically, what that means is you're going to let, let's see, you're going to let y equal mx, because it's going through the origin, or y equals x tan of x, or you could use y minus 0 equals mx minus 0. You can use the point slope form as well. So basically, we know that this is going to be y equals negative 3/4 x. All right, so that's because tan is negative 3/4. So basically, it must be going this way. All right, now for C, it says F, this is F, there's F, equals E sine of x minus 3x divided by 4. Find the derivative of F. So first of all, let's just do this derivative. So derivative of x of negative 3x divided by 4 is just negative 3/4. Now for this part, we're going to use our product rule. So I'm going to use u times v prime plus v times u prime. So I'm going to let u equal e to the x and v equals sine of x. So when you use your product rule, what you're going to get is this part, that's prime, e to the x cosine of x plus, now take the derivative of, if you write v, and derivative of e to the x is just e to the x, and then just copy down v, which is sine to the x. So our f prime of x is just equal to this plus this part, which we already did, minus 3/4. All right, so we did that. And then finally, the last part says, the following diagram shows the graph of f between 0 and 3. Line M is tangent to that graph of f at point P. Given M is parallel to line, so this was that line here. That was 3/4, so up 3/4, so something like that, negative 3/4. Doesn't look parallel. Let me try to make it parallel. So it was something like this. So that would be parallel, and that's L. All right, and this is M. And remember, we were in quadrant 2 here when we did this first part. All right, so it says, given that it's tangent, find the x-coordinate of P. So what you do is you're going to let, we know, do f prime of equals tan of x. So we know that that equals negative 3/4. And we have the other prime, so we have e to the x cosine of x plus e to the x sine of x. That was our first derivative that we did on part C, minus 3/4. And we're going to set it to this slope. These slopes are the same. So we're going to set this because they're parallel. These are parallel. So set that equal to negative 3/4. And then solve. So when you add 3/4 to both sides, you get 0. So you get e to the x cosine of x plus e to the x sine of x equals 0. Therefore, let's factor out e to the x. You get cosine of x plus sine of x equals 0. Divide both sides by e to the x, and you're going to get cosine of x plus sine of x equals 0. So we get sine of x equals negative cosine of x. Divide both sides by cosine, negative cosine, you get negative sine x divided by cosine of x equals 1. Or you could say, this is tangent. Tan of x equals negative 1. So you have to figure out where tan of theta equals negative 1. And that's going to be at 3 pi divided by 4. So x equals 3 pi divided by 4. And that's the x-coordinate of P. You have to keep it in radians because they give it to you in radians here. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.